Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are happy to be back here after taking a week off for the Thanksgiving holiday, but we are back with more Planetarium show. Sorry, the sound on my phone was up, and I didn't realize that.
Let me know the sound's working.
I started hearing myself, and I was very confused. But we are back here with a new planetarium show for you guys, or a new show for you guys. I'm Jessica. I'm the director of the planetarium. With me is one of our students who has become a regular here at our streams, and we love that. But I'll still let him say hi and introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Braden. I'm a vocal music education student here at UMD.
That's so cool. Okay, we still need to talk about you doing like the music show. Anyway, that's not stream
It'll
stuff.
happen. It'll happen.
So even though I know it's not technically December yet, that happens tomorrow. Since we are, I know,
I
I
can't
don't
believe it.
understand.
I can't believe it. Oh my gosh.
But since we are right at the start of a new month, tonight we're going to do our What's Up show, this time featuring the astronomical events for December. And we've got a couple of cool ones. So I'm going to start getting things set up. While I do, if you have any questions during the show tonight, feel free to leave them down in the comments. Braden will be keeping an eye on that for me and will let me know if questions come up. Do keep in mind there's a little bit of a delay between when we see things and when you hear them. So if we don't get to your question right away, we will have time at the end for questions as well. But with that, let's get into our What's Up December edition. And as with most of these, we are going to start off with the moon phases. We actually have the moon phase currently is, I think today was the first quarter. So we're actually starting December past the first quarter. So the first moon phase in December will be December 7th. We will have the full moon for December, which is commonly known as the cold moon since, temperatures are starting to drop. It's also known as the long night moon since we have long nights this time of year, and also the moon before Yule, which is the winter festival. So all completely, names that make sense. Week after that, on the 16th, we have the third quarter. Then we'll have new moon on the 23rd, and we will finish off December and 2022 with the first quarter on December 29th. So here you can see the rise and set times because the moon is up at different times of the day and night depending on the phase. And so you can see all of that information here. Uh, Before we move on to the planets, we have one special astronomical event happening on December 21st. We have the winter solstice or the December solstice. Us here in the northern hemisphere, it is the winter solstice, but down in the southern hemisphere, it's actually the summer solstice. So what's happening is the Earth is tilted on its axis by about 23 degrees. So that means part of the year, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, and that's when we get long days, hot weather, we have summer. And then for the other half of the year, we are tilted away from the sun, and that's when we get our shorter days, cooler weather, and we have winter. So the solstices are the times when we are most directly tilted towards or away from the sun. So for December, since it is our winter solstice, that is the day we are most tilted away from the sun. And that means we are going to have. What happened? Oh, there we go. Sorry. That means on the winter solstice, we have the shortest day of our year. So shortest day, longest night. You may notice that sunsets are happening earlier and earlier. I, for one, even after 4 years here in Minnesota, are not used to 4 p.m. sunsets. But thankfully, December 21st, After that, that will be the earliest sunsets, and we will start having longer days after that. It is also the first day of winter for us here in the northern hemisphere. And like I said, southern hemisphere is opposite because when we're tilted away, the southern hemisphere is tilted towards. So they have the exact opposite. This is their longest day of the year, the start of the summer, and going into the summer season for the southern hemisphere. So yeah, that is coming up on December 21st. All right, moving on to the planets. We've got some great lineups with the planets this month. Starting off here at the beginning of the month, right after the sun has set, we do still have Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars very bright and visible up in the night sky. If you have a telescope or pair of binoculars, you've also got Uranus and Neptune up there as well. Again, you can't really see those with your eye. You do have to have something to aid to help out. So yeah, we got Saturn, Jupiter, Mars. Looking out just after sunset over towards the southeast, you'll see them arched across the sky. This is the best time to see Mars because on Mars 8th, oh my God, December 8th, Mars reaches opposition. So that means, as here you can see a planet at opposition, this means that it is directly opposite the sun in our sky. And that also represents the time that Earth and that planet, in this case Mars, are the closest for that orbit, for that year. So since this is Mars's closest approach to Earth for the year, it's going to be the biggest and brightest, so it is the best time to go out and see it sometime around December 8th. But it will be bright and beautiful all month long, hanging out in the night sky. Now, a little bit later in the month, heading towards the last half, just before sun or just after sunset, over in the southwest, we start to see our last two planets start to peek out over the southwestern horizon. We get Mercury and Venus up in the sky. The best time to see Mercury is going to be December 21st, our winter solstice. And that's because that is when Mercury is at the greatest elongation. That just means it's the furthest it gets from the sun, which makes it the ideal time to look for it, since it's the furthest, so it's going to be easier to see. But yeah, that does mean starting in the second half of the month, we do have a nice little planet parade once again with all 5 naked eye visible planets up in our evening sky, and that will continue through the end of the month. So if you want to get a really cool picture with all of the planets, the second half of this month is the time to do it. Keep a note though, you can see, let me flip back and forth. When they first become visible, Mercury is going to be in front or ahead of Venus. But after greatest elongation on the 21st, it's going to start heading back down towards the sun. So by the end of the month, Mercury is actually going to be behind Venus. So just keep that in mind in case you're trying to figure out which planet is which. But you can always use a program like what these screenshots are from. This is a program called Stellarium. It's fantastic. It's free. It's linked in the video description. And you can put your date, time, and location, and it will show you all of this. It will show you what you can see in your sky, and so you can help you to find all of these planets or stars and constellations, whatever it is you want to look for. All right, moving on, we do have a couple of meteor showers to talk about. So meteor showers typically happen when Earth passes through the debris trail left behind by a comet. As the comet swings past the sun, the ices vaporize, and that blows off a lot of dust and debris that kind of accumulates behind the comet along its orbit. And then when we pass through that, all of that little dust and debris falls through our atmosphere where it gets heated up and it shines briefly in what we call a meteor or a shooting star. And so meteor showers are when we have a lot of those meteors, which happens when we go through this debris trail because we've got a lot of stuff falling through the atmosphere at the same time. So the first meteor shower, which is the most exciting that I want to tell you about, is the Geminids. The Geminids are one of the two major meteor showers that happen every year. The Perseids in the summer are the other one. So the Geminids typically run from December 7th through December 17th, but this year they're going to peak the night of December 13th into the morning of December 14th. And the Geminids are a major shower. You can see up to 120 meteors per hour at peak time. Now, unfortunately, you can see hanging out right here, we are going to have a little moon in the sky. It shouldn't hinder views too much. It just may block some of the faintest meteors. So you may not see quite as many, but the Geminids are known for very bright, colorful meteors. So it should still be a spectacular show as long as the clouds play along and they let us view. So definitely recommend if you're able to get out December 13th. Best time is going to go probably around midnight. So between 11 p.m. on the 13th past midnight on the 14th, and that will be a fantastic show. They're named the Geminids because the meteors appear to originate from the constellation of Gemini, which right around midnight is going to be in the eastern sky. So you're going to want to look towards the north or the south so that you can catch those meteors as they fall through the atmosphere. One quick note on this one. I did start off this segment by saying that meteor showers typically happen when the Earth passes through the debris trail of a comet. But the Geminids are one of two major showers that are actually the result of asteroid fragments and not comets. And that's one of the reasons they are big, bright, colorful meteors is because asteroid fragments tend to be a bit bigger than comet pieces, comet fragments. Now you will notice here that there are several other meteor showers noted at this time. These are very minor showers producing a couple of meteors per hour, which is why I'm not going into detail about those, but there are others going on as well. But the second one that I want to point out is happening at the end of the month, around the winter solstice actually, where we have the Ursids. So these typically run between December 17th and December 25th. This year, the peak is going to be the night of December 21st, heading into the morning of December 22nd. We'll have no moon, so it'll be dark, great skies for this meteor shower. This is a more moderate shower, so we're talking 5 to 15 meteors per hour. But since we have no moon, that means we're going to get to see a lot of them, especially the fainter ones as well. This one is from the debris from a comet. The comet Tuttle is the comet responsible for this meteor shower. And yeah, those are the two, I would say two prominent meteor showers, with of course the Geminids being the big one. If you can get out to see a meteor shower, go see the Geminids. All right, last up, we have the International Space Station. It orbits, completes one orbit around the Earth every 90 minutes. So from any given location, you can actually see it quite often. Depending on its specific orbit, though, it's not always at the same location. Not everyone can always see it at the same time. So for December, this is when we can see it here in Duluth. If you do not live in Duluth, you can always head over to this website, heavens-above.com. It's also linked in the video description. put in your location, and it will tell you when you can see the International Space Station for yourself. It also has this for other satellites as well, so we can see other satellites, not just the space station. But what this is going to show you is the date, the time that the passover happens, and how bright it's going to be. This is given in magnitude, which is kind of a backward scale. The smaller the number, the brighter it's going to be. So here in Duluth, we have quite a few events to catch if you want to get out to see the space station. If you want specifics on any given day, you can click on the date, and it will take you to a page which shows you a map of the sky and the exact path that the International Space Station will travel and the timings from when it's going to be there. So it's a really great, fun resource for that. All right, well, that brings us to our schedule for this week. At the Planetarium, our in-person shows Friday is going to be Journey Through the Solar System. And Saturday, we are continuing Polaris and From Earth to the Universe. And then you can join us right back here on Facebook next Wednesday for our December constellation show. Do keep in mind, we are going to be closed for the last 2 weeks of December for winter break. So we've got this week and then I think 2 more weeks that we'll be doing shows. And then we will be closed for 2 weeks and we'll reopen in 2023. Believe it or not, that's kind of crazy to me. I don't understand how we're
Doesn't
already
seem real.
there.
Does
It
not
really
seem real.
doesn't.
We have a couple of comments.
Okay.
We have a question asking where the sun would be in the night and the sky on the solstice, and asking if it is near a Mizar object.
Messier.
Messier, my bad. I
No,
cannot
you're good.
pronounce stuff. And then
Sure. Let me see if I can. I don't have Stellarium pulled up right now.
Yeah.
Because I was just pulled screenshots.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing with Stellarium, is you can go and download that. Like I said, it's completely free, and you can explore all sorts of things like that. It's really cool.
It's fun.
It's great too because you're not confined to like just now.
Yeah.
Like what was it, a couple weeks ago? We went like several thousand years in the past.
Yeah, we went back to, oh my God, I don't remember the exact time. Yeah, a couple thousand years back.
Yeah, so it's very cool. You can also explore, different locations on Earth because not everywhere on Earth sees exactly the same skies that we do. So it's always very cool.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's give it one more minute to see if we get any other questions. Let's see.
Some years ago, I made a time. No.
Line glinting. I mean, line of objects a few years ago, I would assume was the oh my God, what are the satellites? The SpaceX. The why can't I remember their name? Starlink?
Yeah, it's Starlink.
Starlink, yeah. That's what I would assume without seeing it. Yeah. I know anytime we get new Starlink launches, there's always some crazy, oh my God, what is that line of lights in the sky? I haven't got to see it in person yet, which makes me a little sad. But
Oh, you probably will.
probably. All right. Well, I think we will wrap it up there. So thank you everyone so much for joining us. Lots of cool things to check out this month. Again, you can join us next week for our December constellations. And if you're in the Duluth area, we've got shows going on for the next few weeks. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again. Hopefully everyone has a wonderful night and rest of your week, and we will see you again next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.